Okay, guys, let's get into it. So the other day I got a package from Harley. Harley, also known as Smolzilla. So we're gonna open this up and get into it and see what's going on here. This is a little unboxing video, and whoo, man, look at this. Actually, we need a celebratory pinch of chewing tobacco for this one. So get myself a nice pinch. I'm gonna have several of these several of these unboxing videos, only because I've got so many unboxings all of a sudden. So let's get into this. This is from Smolzilla, also known as Harley. So anyways, I'm going to save this packing paper because I've got some stuff I got to send out probably in the near future here. So I'm going to try and save as much of this stuff as I can. So, anywho, let's see. This is one of the things he had in there. It says Zilla Flakers. 20D, horseshoe, and 6 gauge, I think is what it is. So, let me get this stuff out of the way. So what Harley sent me is, okay, so this is a 20D nail. That is very cool. Harley made these, he 3D printed these pressure flakers. He's got the little set screw in there, and he's got the copper tip in there, and he actually put wording in there. I don't know if you can see that right there. It says 20D nail right there. It's actually on the handle. These things feel pretty good. I like this. Can't wait to give them a try. You can kind of choke up on it too if you want, and you got longer thing on there. So that's one of them right there. Let me move this over a little bit. Maybe we can have these all laid out. So that's a 20D nail. This oopsie, there's a horseshoes. He sent me some horseshoes. So this one is the horseshoe nail. So this is a pressure flaker for flint knapping, and you cut the head of the horseshoe nail off and you slide it in and set it in the set pin for these. And that's really good for that finishing work. Sometimes that thin notching that people do is done with these horseshoe nails. You can grind them thinner. You can make the point more rounded. You can make it very needle tip sharp, but it's great for napping in tight places. So he sent me a horseshoe size holder, and actually the way it looks like, he made a square slot for the horseshoe nail to drop into. So that's very cool. See, the other one's round. That's like a little rectangle, just like the shape of the horseshoe nail. So that's very cool. Oh, time to spit. So anyhow, the next thing we got in here is a 6 gauge copper pressure flaker. So he's actually made the sizes of the holes and everything so that all these different tips will fit in there. You could probably use a steel nail in some of these also. If you can find a 20D steel nail, you could probably interchange that with the copper nail. And basically these are nails that basically they just snip the head off or cut the head off, just like the horseshoe nail, and then you shape it the way you want to make, you know, the right pressure flaker. But these are awesome. In fact, Harley, what I would also maybe recommend on the future when you make these pressure flakers is somehow come up with a way of having a cap on here. I know this is designed so you can add a wooden dowel rod to it to make it the pressure flaker like an ishii stick, which is cool. But my suggestion would be is to maybe make something where you can have a cap that can be removed if you want to use it as an ishii stick. But it would be a cap that would go in there, and then like your extra tips, you could just drop them right in there and put the cap on and keep them all together, because that's the problem I have with flint knapping, is keeping all my tools exactly together so I can not mess them up. So that might be a suggestion for you, Harley, to try and do that. Moving right along in here is a couple of slabs that Harley gave me. Now this slab, just looking at the color, if I get it wet a little bit, you can see it's got some really pretty pinks and some colors in there. Now, I don't know, Harley, what material this is, this slab you gave me, but if I had to guess, I'm probably going to say this is probably a piece of flint ridge. Not sure, but it looks kind of nice and gloss. Looks like it's been heat treated. So I got a piece of what I think is flint ridge there. And then the other slab that Harley sent me, I'm not sure what this material is. I was going to ask him. Hopefully this shows up on here. But it looks like it's got a darker bullseye pattern radiating out. And I'm not sure what this is. Let's see. Let's see if it's translucent. That might give us an idea. We'll use a flashlight on it. Okay, it doesn't look very translucent at all. Maybe when it gets thinner, it will be translucent. I don't see any light passing through it. Let me see. Yeah, there's a little bit of light passing through this other one that looks like flint ridge. This is either flint ridge or some sort of coral. That could very well be. It could be a piece of coral. But anyways, I'm kind of thinking this might be like a Dongala flint, which is like from Illinois. But like I said, I can't be 100% certain. It's a beautiful material, though. It looks really good. When I start to nap this, the challenges is going to be to try to preserve some of this bullseye pattern in there. That's going to be cool if I can keep that in there. But they got a nice ring to them, so you know that they're going to nap probably pretty good, I'm guessing. Okay, so we're going to, hopefully these can still be in frame, but I'm going to move on to the next thing. Hopefully those are still in frame a little bit so you can enjoy seeing them. And the other thing that Harley sent me, I got to be very careful because there's a lot in here. A lot of stuff going on here. So let's open this up. And what he sent me is something very, very cool. In fact, I mean, I enjoy getting rock from people, knappable rock, but this is something that's very cool because I might try to investigate this on my aunt's farm, but what Harley sent is some old vintage looking glass. Some of this looks like cullet glass maybe, but as we open this up, let's have a look in here. Let's have a closer and better look at all this. Oh wow, sweetness! Looks like I got another piece of that slab. Look at that. I bet that matches. Maybe not. Oh, yep, it does. It does fit. So that would have been a really nice slab at one time. But I'm curious, Harley. You'll have to put in the comments and let me know if this is a piece of flint ridge or if this is fossilized coastal plains chert or fossilized coral. But very cool. I didn't know that. Now I got a chance to make 2 points out of this material. So that's cool. Okay, so this looks like this is very thick. Look at how thick that is, guys. That's like almost a 1/2 inch thick, I would say. This is old bottle dump glass. And Harley made a comment that this is like some of his favorite stuff to work. So we got this piece of brown. Oh, look at that. Beautiful, rich brown color. This is probably from an old Clorox bleach bottle, but you can see the beautiful color in that. And from what Patrick was telling me is that this brown Clorox bleach bottle glass, vintage bleach bottle glass, is very nice. It naps very well. So let me get all these out here first, because we got this cellophane here. Let me get this out of here. There's a couple little flakes. So there was a little bit of breakage that happened when in shipment. But so we got this big piece of brown bleach bottle glass. This actually could be part of the same one or something, but Harley digs this out. It looks like it's got this textured stippled edge on there. But yeah, look how nice and thick that is. You can really do some percussion and indirect percussion flaking with those. So, very cool, Harley. And then we've got, what does this say? Contents 1 quart. It looks like Douglas maybe, but this is another type of bottle dump glass. And look at that's like a lighter green, but look at how colorful that is. Man, I can't wait to nap some of this stuff and see. Looks like he's got another piece of it. Looks like the same. Is that the same thickness? It's a little thicker, this piece. A little darker green too. Boy, I like that green. I might have to flint knap a shamrock out of that for St. Patty's Day. Now, I don't know if I'll get into look at how dark, lustrous green that is. In there, let's see what this one looks like. Oh, that's a real lustrous green too. These are gonna look amazing. Hopefully I'm not shining the light in your eyes, but look at how amazing. It's almost like a neon green. That is beautiful stuff. So we got some of this green bottle glass. Here's this looks like more of an aquamarine, just a clear glass with kind of an aqua color to it on the edges. So that's very cool. This is another piece. This looks almost like an old Coke bottle of some kind. And then he gave me a piece of this little, it's like a blue glass, but it's almost like a robin egg blue color to it, but translucent obviously because light's passing through it. So that's cool. And then look at this. This is a piece of that cobalt glass. This is probably an old Bromo seltzer or Alka-Seltzer bottle, but look at that blue. And that is just really nice dark blue in there. And then we got this looks like an old type of a jar too, but it's got kind of that bluish color, like a light sky blue color to it. Very neat. And then this could be just cullet glass, because this doesn't look like it's part of a bottle or anything, a bottle bottom. It's got a little white swirl in there too. So that could be just but that would make a sweet looking point. All right, let's move on and see what else we got in this other thing. And I guess Harley has a dump. He can actually go and dig all these old bottles, which makes great nappable material. It's pretty much free. It just takes you the effort of going out and finding it and digging it out. But that's the same thing with like looking for chert or flint. You'd be out there digging and using a pry bar and things to get at that. So it's the same thing, just that this is very nappable. Wow, look at that big piece. That's a huge piece of clear glass. That is very nice. Looks like I got another big whopper of a piece. But these are old bottles back before plastic, before they could make bottles out of plastic. Everything that you had back in the early 1900s was all made. Any liquid was put into bottles like this. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that rich reddish brown color in there. It's almost kind of reminds me of Texas root beer or Knife River Flint. How much color there is in that. That's quite amazing. That's a huge piece. Jeez, I can probably make a nice knife blade out of that. Here's another piece that looks like the brown glass too. See, it's got some good color to it. And the thing is like old, like beer bottles from today that are like the 40-ounce beer bottles of today that are brown glass. They're just not as rich of a color as these old vintage bottles are. So that's very cool. Here's another piece of blue here. See, they just don't make the glass today like they used to. See, this is some of the more of that blue. Look at that. It's like a bright, beautiful blue glass. Not as much like the cobalt glass, but it's a different shade, but that's beautiful. And I appreciate Harley giving me this little piece of cobalt glass, because I know this is rare and harder to come by. That some of this lighter blue is easier to come by, and obviously the clear and the green is obviously easy to find. And I love green. I like anything green material. Green flint, green chert, green jasper, any of that's really cool. That's kind of like my favorite overall color of all colors is green. But look at that. Okay, so that's our first unboxing. And I'm going to have to put all this back in here as is. I'm going to go back through it and put it in another tub or another container. I have some of my flint knapping materials I haven't separated by who sent it to me or what the material is, and this will go perfectly. I don't really have, I got obsidian, but I don't have like bottle glass like this, so this is awesome. I'm going to be probably trying this stuff first when I first get out and start knapping, because glass is supposed to be easier to knap than most other materials. So it's a good thing to learn on when you're kind of rusty, because like I said, I haven't knapped anything seriously finished a point in probably 15 years or more. So for me, this will be a nice little slide in there. And then I've got these beautiful tabs, slabs to try too. So huge, gigantic thank you to Harley Smolzilla for the knapping tools. These are beautiful. These are awesome. I can't wait to try these. But like I said, I've got a couple weeks left before the weather gets nice enough to get out and do some napping, because I don't do any napping in an indoor structure. I don't have a place to nap in my garage like some people do or whatever. So I do everything outside in nature. So, or in my driveway or my backyard. But anyways, thanks again, Harley, for all the good material and the tools. Greatly appreciate that. And hopefully in about 3 or 4 weeks, maybe it'll be warm enough and nice enough I can get out and do some napping. I can maybe get a video going with that. I got to play around with the camera angles to do that, you know, to be able to do something like that. But anyhow, I'm gonna stop this one because I'm not even sure if I'm still recording, so I gotta check a few things out on this video. But anyhow, like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you on the next one.